Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a TBR for the spooky seasonal reading challenge that Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy is hosting. I will link her channel down below so you can go check out her announcement video, because I might not go through everything. But basically there's this seasonal spooky reading challenge that has like 4 different parts. The first 2 parts are connected. The first A and B is how I put them. A, you pick your book based on a setting and it unlocks part of B, so you kind of have to match them. Then there's part C and part D. Part C is prompt or cover related, and part D is prompt related. Loosely, it's like different things that sometimes you see in horror books, like vampires and cults and things like that. I tried my best to mostly use horror novels, but I also wanted to work with what I had on my physical TBR. So most of the books are from my physical TBR. I do have like a few choices that I picked from my digital TBR as well, but let's see. I think I went crazy and I picked 22 books, which is like maxing it out. I didn't double up on anything other than the A and B section when you have to double up. But let me see how many I have physically so I can tell you how much I have digitally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so I have 19 physical books, which means that I chose 3 digital books. Like I said, I tried really, really hard to pick mostly physical books so that I could get my physical collection read. There we go. So we're gonna go through this whole thing. So part A is based on the setting. So for part A, the first setting is urban, like an urban setting, a city setting. For that one, I'm going to be reading Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is the only book that I have already read, but I read it when it first came out and I really, really hated it. But I've been thinking about it, specifically the ending, for months, and I've just been like, it's been living in my head rent-free for months. So I'm like, you know what, I gotta give it another shot. It's kind of like a haunted house story. There's also this one for me unlocks something. Oh, how come I don't have Home Before Dark? Oh, I do. It unlocks the audiobook because I'm going to be primarily listening to it, but I might read it as I listen, I think. I think the last time I just listened to the audiobook. This time I kind of want to do both. So there's that. It's a haunted house story about Maggie. Her dad died, so she inherited this house that she didn't even know they still owned, and she goes back to like renovate it and get it ready to sell, and then she's just gonna sell it. But then things from her past come back to haunt her. Then for summer camp, I'm cheating. Here's the thing though, with Cassidy's video, she said to stretch the prompts as much as you want. So I very much stretched the prompt here. But for summer camp, I'm going to be reading We All Fall Down by Natalie D. Richards. So it's not exactly a summer camp. It's more of like this haunted bridge where there was a party, an incident happened, and now the bridge is like luring these teens back to the bridge. So I stretched it quite a bit, but I'm still counting it. And that one also counts for young adult. It unlocks the young adult prompt because I don't read a lot of young adults, but Natalie D. Richards is one of the like exceptions to that rule, along with Holly Jackson, kinda. Then we have Isolation, so just like an isolated horror novel. For that, I'm going to be reading Reprieve by James Hahn Matson. This takes place in the 90s during an escape room, but it's like a hands-on escape room where they can like touch you and freak you out. So it's like a haunted escape room type thing, and there are 4 contestants left, and then one of them dies. And that sounds pretty good. This one also is unlocking the diverse rep because our author is a Korean American author. So there's that. Then our next one is A Small Town. And sorry, this book has 3 books in it. I've already read Carrie, but I am putting Small Town is Salem's Lot. I really have no idea what Salem's Lot is about. I think that I just found out there's vampires in Salem's Lot. I had no idea. I really don't know. This one also counts for a book I didn't buy. Some of you might say I'm cheating, but my husband took me book shopping. I think it might have been, I don't remember why. It might have been my birthday or my rebirthday, and I was gonna buy some books, but instead I found this really beautiful edition, and my husband bought it, and he said that I'm not allowed to ever like unhaul it or sell it on Pango, but like why would I want to? It's so beautiful, and I just want to finally finish this book, so my husband bought it for me. That's how it counts for I didn't buy it. I'm counting it though. The next one is a Southern horror novel. For that, I'm going to be reading The Butcher and the Wren by Elena Arcahart. I'm so sorry. But this is a new to me author. And like, when we get to the cover prompts, I will show you, like, this counts for an I, and I could have just like doubled up right there, but I didn't. Like I said, I tried to pick a book for every single like prompt, but that would have been a really creepy eye to have, you know. So I'll show you a couple of the options that I had, and then the ultimate one that I ended up picking a little bit later on. But this one, oh, I already said counts. It unlocks the new to me author. Then I have a haunted house book, and I did cheat a little bit on this one too. So for a haunted house book, I'm going to be reading The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates. So the way that I put this as new release, but hear me out. This came into my used bookstore on July 24th. It's currently the end of August, and I already bought this, so I had to have bought it in August or July, I guess. But to me, it's a new to me release. So I'm very much stretching that because I think this came out in 2019, but I haven't read it yet, and I just got it added to my collection. So I'm counting it. Cassidy already said you can stretch the prompts if you need to, but I don't know anything about it other than Darcy Coates. I've been trying to read a lot of her books this year, and most of them I have liked. So, Haunted House, Darcy Coates, that's it. Then, the Coastal book. This one said that it takes place here. I don't know a lot of like locations of where my books take place, so I looked online, and if I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. Just let me be blissfully wrong and still count it for this challenge, because going into these books, I have the best of intentions. Okay? So, I did not know that this was a coastal book, but I read somewhere that Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Murumfit is takes place on the coast. So I'm counting it. I mean, like, I have to, right? This one unlocks which one does it? Oh, this one unlocks on somebody else's TBR, because I have a couple of friends that have this on their TBR too. And then the last one is Set in the Woods. This one probably won't get read until November, December-ish, but technically the challenge is September, October, November. I'm gonna start mine at the end of August and possibly go into the beginning of December, like August 25th to December 5th, possibly. And so In the Woods is Dead of Winter by Keelan Patrick Burke. This also unlocks novella because it's like 100 pages. 84 pages. And I think that it's a few interconnected short stories that take place in this small town. And they're scary. There's things like a snowman that comes to life, but not like frosty, like scary. So, we'll see. It takes place around the holidays, and we'll see what that happens there. Then, part C is cover prompts. So the first cover prompt is hands on the cover. And Cassidy did say that, like, it has to be predominantly hands on the cover. I have a couple of options for this, but I ended up going with Mary by Nat Cassidy. Now, just looking at it from afar, it looks like it's just this old lady taking a bath, but this really creeped me out, so I'm counting it. Do you see, like, where is that extra, over here, right? Over here. Where's that extra hand coming from? Like, Mary only has 2 hands, so why is there a third hand grabbing her? Whose is it? That's so creepy. And so it looks like normal from afar, but when you see it, then you can't unsee it. So I don't know if it's exactly what Cassidy was thinking for the cover prompts, but I'm counting it because that is so creepy. And then the next one is Window. For Window, I'm going to be using Inspection by Josh Mallerman. I think this would also be young adult. And In the Woods. But there's lots of windows, but this one has a light on. This follows a boys' school and a girls' school. So there's a boys' school, there's the forest, and then an all-girls school on the other side. And there's something creepy going on at these schools. So Jay is at the all-boys school, and he kind of wants to go on an adventure. So he goes through the woods and he finds the all-girls school, and he meets Kay, and Jay and Kay become best friends, and they start investigating what's really going on at this school, or at these schools. So I don't know. All the reviews say that's really creepy, and I'm not exactly sure how. Like, I don't know. I'm excited though. And then the next one is one that I struggled with. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So, hold on. I was gonna tell you, this one counts for Window. That one is the one I picked for Window. There's Windows on Home Before Dark. There's Windows on Reprieve. So there's a lot of windows that I could have picked. There's actually a window right here within these walls. There's lots of windows, but I think that we'll see if it happens. But I'm going to try and do a horror reading vlog where I read all the books that have windows on the cover, and then I want to do one that has eyeballs on the cover, because I found a lot have eyeballs as well. Anyway, the next one, I cheated. Possibly. Maybe. But the next one is Weapon on the cover, and like, I could have done this because like claws. I could have found something online because I'm sure that I have one digitally somewhere, but like I said, I was trying really hard to use my already owned TBR. I guess I could have used the car on Reprieve, but instead, again, go with me on this stretching of the prompts. So I'm using zombies. There are 2 zombies on the cover. Zombies are weapons. They can be weapons. Okay? I know. Is that cheating? I don't think so. I'm counting it. This is called Breathers. This is by S.G. Brown. This is on my September TBR, so I need to get to it. I also need to give it back to my brother-in-law. I sound like a broken record, though, because I feel like I've said this a million times already. But it's a romance during a zombie apocalypse between 2 zombies. So that sounds really wholesome and really cute, but zombies can be used as weapons. So it counts. Then an animal on the cover, I am using The Prized Girl by Amy K. Green. I think this one is more of a thriller than a horror story. But if you look, there's a spider web right there. There's also a spider up there in the very dark. So there's a spider, which counts as an animal. But if you don't count spiders as an animal, which, like, I don't know why you wouldn't, there's also this lady. And this lady is a mammal because people are mammals. And so either the spider, which is the first thing that I saw, or the person, they both are animals. So this follows this pageant girl who goes missing. And, oh, wait, no, she's found murdered. And this is like the investigation into her murder. Okay. The next one is tech. So I might have... Oh, wait, no, I'm a liar. The next one, you might say I'm cheating again. But I'm going to use The Shining by Stephen King because this cover has blood on the door. Yes, mine doesn't technically have blood, but you could say that the S is blood and it's like dripping blood. So either way, I'm getting both of Stephen King's novels on here because I think this would be the perfect time to read it. Plus, both of those books are part of the 24 books I need to read in 2024, and I have not read them yet. I should really do a video seeing how good I'm doing on that list because I think that list fell to the wayside, and I don't know how good I'm doing on it. Then the next one is tech. So for tech, again, I'm stretching things, okay? This one is also a thriller. This one is The Safe Place by Anna Downs, but it literally says no phones, no outsiders, no escape. So it says no phones. There might not be an actual tech thing on the cover, but phones, it says the word phones. And that's technology. So it definitely counts. This is like a nanny thriller. This new nanny, I think Emily. Woo, I was wrong. Emily gets this job as a nanny to this really wealthy family. And then they go on vacation and they take their nanny with them. And now there's no phones, no outsiders, no escape. So that will be interesting. Then the eyeball. So like I said, The Butcher and the Wren would have counted for that. There's also Tell Me I'm Worthless. Those eyes are very prominent. But of course I went with Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. I was supposed to read this in August. It is the end of August, and I have not read it yet. Nor do I think it's going to get read by me. But this one also has a cult in it. And honestly, like, when I see this cover, I think it's creepy. I know it's a doll's face, but the eyes are super creepy. They almost look like they're bleeding right here. I don't know if you can see that, but oh my gosh. This is just terrifying. I don't know if this is horror or a thriller. I thought it was a thriller about escaping a cult, but I've also heard that's really creepy. So it's fine. It fits this challenge. And then Water on the cover. So for Water on the cover, I could have done The Safe Place by Anna Downs. I could have done Red Mary by Nat Cassidy. I ended up going with, Dark Across the Bay by Anya Alborn. I don't know what this one's about, but that cover is water. I think it's a horror novel. I'm pretty sure Anya Allborn usually always writes horror novels. So it's going to be something scary and fun. It'll be the second book I've read by Anya Allborn. And then we have the bonus prompts, which is part D. So if you don't get to the bonus prompts, it's okay. But, you know, I'm an overachiever. So I'm gonna try to read all 22 of these. And the first bonus prompt is vampires. Read a book with vampires in it. So I have Dracula by Bram Stoker, but also Salem's Lot counts. And those are the only two that I know of. Unless you count zombies as vampires, then Breather. No, they're not the same thing. I know. I've never read Dracula because I'm scared of classics. I read them on occasion and sometimes I really enjoy them, but I mean, the writing's so small and the book's so large, and I just get really intimidated by classic novels, but we all know who Dracula is, so I'm gonna go there. Oh, this would also count for hands, the hands prompt, but clearly I got something else for that. The next one is mixed media, which I could have used Home Before Dark because there are chapters in here that are Maggie's dad's book that he wrote when she was a kid. And it was like a scary novel, so that could have worked. But instead I went with Edenville by Sam Rubelin. This has like different scenes and different books in it. So there's like your regular book, but then it says Act 1 and it has a little mini chapter in it. So, yeah. This is after publishing his debut novel, The Shattered Man, to disappointing sales and reviews. Campbell is struggling to find inspiration for a follow-up when Edenville College invites him to be a writer in residence. Cam is convinced that his bad luck has finally taken a turn. His girlfriend Quinn isn't so sure. She grew up near Edenville and has good reasons for not wanting to move back. So it says there's urban legend, there's horror, there's humor. So I guess we will see. This one also has a window on the cover. You know, I'm pretty sure I already showed you a bunch of them that have windows on the cover. Then for cults, there's The Nightmare Girl by Jonathan Jans. This follows this man named Joe who is at a gas station. He tells this woman that she's a terrible mother because of the way she was treating her toddler. So mom goes home and commits suicide, leaving toddler in foster care. And I think that there's some kind of fire cult in here. But there's also, just like Mother, is about escaping a cult. So I have a couple that fit that prompt, but I'm going with The Nightmare Girl. And then we have Ghosts. This one I stretched a little bit as well. For Ghosts, I'm picking Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. So this follows this woman named Chris, and her son dies in an accident. And I'm pretty sure that this is about her grief. I don't think that he's an actual ghost. I think that think like Frankenstein. She's trying to like recreate him, I believe. And like there's some talk of reincarnation. And that's kind of, you know, it's not exactly like your typical ghosts, but in a way it's like haunting her. His death is haunting her. So I'm counting that one too. Like I said, I stretched these to the maximum. And then Cannibals, I have The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, but I've already read that. And yes, there's cannibalism in that. But I borrowed this from my Kindle, or from Libby. And so I'm going to be reading A Certain Hunger by Alma Katsu. I don't know what it's about, but I'm figuring it's cannibalism, I think. And then the last one is a book that follows serial killers. And I didn't really have as many of those as I thought I would. I mean, The Butcher and the Wren has a serial killer. Reprieve potentially could have a serial killer, but I only know of one person that dies in this. I think Mary gets unhinged and she becomes a serial killer, or there's a serial killer in it. The Safe Place, I'm assuming there's some kind of murder, but I don't know for sure on this one. So I actually had a few options, but I ended up going with Within These Walls by Anya Alborn. I'm trying to read everything that she writes, or has written, and this one's pretty thick, almost 500 pages. So it's like 450 pages, and it's pretty floppy and but you follow Lucas, who is a writer, a true crime writer, and he gets to go to the prison to interview this mass murderer who was also part of a cult. And I'm not sure what happens after that. I don't want to know a whole lot, but we'll be reading that. So that is my entirely too large TBR for the seasonal spooky challenge that Covers with Cassidy is doing, that Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy is hosting. So don't forget to smash this like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and go check Cassidy out. Her channel will be linked down below. And let me know if you've read any of these books. What did you think? Did you like them or not so much? I will see you in the next video. Bye.